All of us reach a point in time where we are depleted and need to somehow find a way to reignite the fire within. But how do we spark that flame? Welcome to Reignite Resilience, where we will venture into the heart of the human spirit. We'll discuss the art of reigniting our passion and strategies to stoke our enthusiasm. And now, here are your hosts, Natalie Davis and Pamela Cass.
Welcome back to another episode of Reignite Resilience. I am your co-host, Natalie Davis, and I am so excited to be back with you all today. And joining me, of course, is your co-host, Pam Cass. Pam, how are you today?
You know what? I am fabulous. This is my last thing of the day. Maybe.
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 We could all be so lucky.
I think I have a few things more that I have to do for work tonight, but it's been a long couple of days, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think as
yesterday.
you head into this holiday season, it's like the days get longer and the weeks get shorter. I don't know how that works, but that's what happens.
Yeah. And I get older. And
That's it. Well, we have a fabulous guest that's joining us today. So I will toss it over to you. If you could tell our listeners who's joining us.
Yes. So we have a special guest today, and I'm excited because we just get to have some of the most incredible people on our podcast. And this bio is incredibly short, but wow. So free spirit, financial freedom coach, world citizen, 6X Ironman, happy family father. So I'm going to pass it over to you. And is it Ingo? Did I say that right?
Ingo's great, yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I'm passing it to you, and tell us your story, tell us about yourself, and we'll just dive right in.
Yeah, sure. First of all, thanks for the invite and thanks for the quick summary. That's my, I tried to make it very short here, but it's basically sums up my life, but I'm happy to share a little bit more. So my name is Ingo. I'm from Germany. I lived there most of my life, but I was always, I always wanted to go out, and I was always curious about adventures. And it happened then I started traveling and everything. And I also started to work in a career. I made a corporate career. So I was working for more than 15 years as an engineering and product management director in the semiconductor industry. But it didn't really fulfill me. And then actually, like a few years ago, now almost 3 years ago, me and my family, we made then a decision. It was during the pandemic, and we said, okay, we were not so happy anymore with the jobs. And before I was traveling a lot all over the world, and then I was just sitting at home and sitting in front of the Zoom meetings all day long. And then I think I reached a point where the pain was big enough, and we just said, okay. And then the kids didn't really go to school anymore because they were closed, and they had the Zoom meetings that didn't work. And so it was a little bit frustrating. So we made a decision. We said, okay, we sold all our things, our house, our cars, and basically everything we had. And we took everybody, our 2 kids and our 2 dogs, and we moved to Mexico. And we traveled around here for like 8 or 9 months. And then we found a place here, actually the city where we live now. And we really liked it here, and the kids liked it. So they went to school here, or they started going to school. And we decided to stay here, at least for the next, I don't want to say forever, right? Because for me, nothing is forever. So that's not my planning horizon, but at least for the next years, I think, till the kids are a little bit older. I mean, they're now teenagers. So I guess in a few years, they want to make their own decisions. And so we said, okay, for now, we were staying here.
So, wow. So you leave Germany and go pretty much across the globe to Mexico and travel around for 8 or 9 months. How did the kids adjust to that? How did they feel about that? How did they adjust?
Yeah, for the kids, I think it was incredible because of course, in the beginning they were a little bit sad because they had to leave their friends and everything and their like family. but I think we also did it in a good age. At this time, I think 9 and 11. So we said, okay, if we want to do it, we need to do it now because once they're teenagers, it's much more difficult to take them out of their social environment, right? Because they have their own friends, or more close friends and everything. And yeah, I mean, they were pretty open, and I think they did a great job in adjusting here, and I think also they learned a lot here when we were traveling, like about the culture, but also about life in general. And yeah, when we arrived here in this city, we stayed there we were here for like a few days, and then we met another couple. So he's from Germany and she's from the United States. They also live here, and they had a daughter, and the daughter went to school. And it was a very nice school. It's like in the forest. It's a small school. The kids are in the nature all day, and it's a very nice way of learning. And we said, okay, you can try to go there to our kids, right? And they went there, and after the first day, they came home and they said, okay, we will stay here.
Wow.
Okay, so
that's all it took. Yes.
School in the jungle, and they were sold on it. I love it.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Ingo, you started out on this journey of looking for more, wanting more, right? You had reached this point where you weren't getting the fulfillment and satisfaction out of life that you thought. You knew that there was more. So how has that journey progressed for you? Where are you now with that?
Yeah, I think very good. And I think for many years, I'm on a personal development journey, right? More than 20 years. I'm 46 now. And when I started studying and when I was in my early 20s, I started to work on myself. And I always wanted to make this career. And I was always chasing these goals, right? That most of the people have, right? You want to have a career and money and like whatever. And it also worked pretty good for me. I was always good in chasing my goals. I usually achieved the goals. And you mentioned it, I also have an athletic career. I did many Ironmans. I went to the Ironman World Championship on Hawaii in 2018. So I was always good in like manifesting my goals and also then go for them and achieve them. But yeah, you said it correctly. I mean, what was missing was really like the real purpose and the real, maybe my definition of success, right? Maybe it was not really, I was not really aligned with myself. And for many years, I maybe thought it was, maybe I was chasing somebody else's dream. And it was, I mean, we all think that's something I figured out. We all think we know what we want, right? And we know what we're striving for, and we know what a good life should look like. But I found out we're also very biased by, especially today, right? We have all the social media and all the stuff, and we hear all day what other people are doing and from our families and friends. So I think it's very difficult to find this connection with ourselves, and that's something maybe I was missing. And it's something I've worked a lot over the last years. Now I feel much better. I mean, I built my own business. I'm doing stuff that I love to do. And I think,
Fabulous. And I'm assuming that you started this business after moving to Mexico.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and already before I started doing meditation and started finding my own purpose and this like starting my spiritual journey. And then when we moved to Mexico, I didn't really know. I was also not worried so much about the finances. So I thought we will work it out somehow. And it was also, I must say, when we made this decision, I mean, I had for many years, I had this limiting belief that I cannot quit my job because, I need the paycheck at the end of the month and I need to feed my kids and I need to pay the mortgage and everything. But once we made this decision, it was like a freeing process, right? Immediately so this big burden fall from the shoulders. And when we were standing at the airport, I remember we were standing there like with the dog cages and with 8 suitcases or something like that. We still have the photo. And I never really looked back and I never regret anything. But what I wanted to say now. Now I forget what I wanted.
No, that's great. That's great. And so, and you mentioned like going on that spiritual journey piece, right? With the yoga, the meditation, the reflection. I'm assuming you did some journaling in there, figuring out who you are, and then
all the stuff.
Yeah, and not having that, not that it wasn't responsibility, but feeling like you were kind of tethered to your career because you were responsible. You had to, pay for the house and the food and the kids and, taking care of your family. And then and I have the visual, like the freeing experience of standing in an international airport with your luggage and your pet crates. Like, here we
Yeah,
go.
your whole life, like right there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Here's your new beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really like a new beginning, and that's what I wanted to say. I was not worried about finding a job for something. First, I thought because I'm coming from a technical background, I will find something, some consulting or engineering. But then I
Yes.
did also a lot. I did a lot of like courses and educations on transformational coaching and NLP and this stuff. And in the beginning, I didn't do it because I wanted to do this as a job. I did it for myself to find out more about myself and about my past and all my my belief system and everything. But the changes and the experience was so profound for me that then I started to do it more and more and with other people and then I started to do this as a job and building my business based on that.
Yeah.
But it was not the plan from the beginning. I mean, it's just like developed like that.
It naturally progressed. Yes. Well, tell us about this business. I'd love to hear this. Now that you've come out of the engineering tech side and you come into more of a tangible, spiritual, transformational side of your career, your profession.
Yeah, so I'm helping people that were basically in the same situation that I was, right? There are people that are, I think there are many people that are more or less successful, right? Or at least what society defines as successful. I mean, they have a good jobs, they have the good money, but still they're, especially in the Western world, right? Like in Europe or also in the United States, people are so stressed, right? They're just running from one meeting to the next and everything is, yeah, I mean, it's almost like you're delaying your happiness for the time of once you made enough money or once you're whatever retired. But
And then it
I
never
think
comes.
that's a problem because yeah, I mean, time is very limited, right? And so that's what I'm working on with my clients now to help them to find really their purpose and to also to take away this limiting beliefs that they have and eventually find also better solution for such people. And I think many people stuck in, so I call it the curse of a good life, right? Because I think because if you most of us are not really miserable, right? We have something to eat and we have a roof and a shelter and can buy some pleasure and everything. But it could be better. But the point is, if you're in this kind of good life, it's very difficult to change from there because the pain is not so big enough that you're really willing to make this or to step in this potentially much bigger risk of doing something completely different. And so you just step by step you continue on a path that's not really bringing you where you want to go. I think that's something that's my mission to help people to.
So how do people I'm trying to think of the question I would ask you. It's how do people, one, find you and how do they usually come to you? Like what makes them say, oh, I need to seek out a coach or somebody in this realm? Because I don't know. I think, like you said, most people were just kind of on this like forever treadmill and we're just showing up and doing the same thing over and over again. And we're living a, comfortable life. But what happens usually, or is there a common thing that typically happens that makes people say, I think I want something different?
Yeah, I think the first step in this process is that you really recognize that you're in such a situation and that you become aware of that and that you really have the willingness to change something. And therefore, I think you need a certain level of pain. And I mean, look, I think it's much, I mean, it sounds maybe silly to say it, but it's much easier to change something if you're coming from a really, let's say, a traumatic situation, right? If you have a really traumatic childhood or if you lose some partner or family member.
Yeah.
That's very hard and it's very sad, of course. But then you're in a position where you really have to make changes because there's no other way. But if you're in this good life, as I said, it's very difficult to even get there. And yeah, I mean, the first step is that people need to recognize that. And then usually they recognize also that it's easier if they get help from somebody, because it's very difficult to find it out for ourselves, right? And I think in dialogues and if you have a good coach, it's much easier to get into this. It's not always pleasant, right? But it's it can help much more to go in these areas of your subconscious mind and feelings that you usually avoid to go there.
Yeah, because I could see wanting to hold on to that past life and not letting go of that to start a new life just out of fear of the unknown of what could happen.
Yeah.
But you did it. You
Yeah.
just sold everything and started this new amazing life. Which
Yeah.
Yeah,
is,
and really, we're really happy. I mean, it's really,
yeah.
as
Well,
I said, I
and not
never look back.
not every individual is going to transform every area of your life, which is what you and your family did, right? You transform your environment, new career, new school for the kids. Financial situation looks different because you're now you're going from, engineering position and salaried position, to an entrepreneurship space. Like, you transformed everything at the same time. Not everyone's really cut out for that. Just the same way not everyone's cut out to be an Ironman competitive athlete. When you're working with,
Sorry,
go right ahead.
No, and I'm saying, yeah, I mean, that's my solution. But what I'm
That's
doing is
it.
I'm not proposing anybody to do the same, right?
That's
I'm
it.
helping people to find their solution.
Yes.
I believe we all have our own solution within ourselves, and
That's it.
we need to get it out. It doesn't help to follow anybody else's path.
No.
I'm not recommending anybody to sell everything and move to the other end of the world.
Perfect.
But we all have our own.
Yeah.
I strongly believe that we all have our own truth and our own way that we should walk in ourselves.
Do you have tools that you use to help people kind of figure out what that is?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are many psychological tools for depending on different situation. I mean, usually we're starting to work on really finding their purpose, and therefore you really need to dig in yourself. And I mean, tools that they can apply for themselves are meditation, or just like disconnect for a while from your phone, from social media, or also from friends, and reconnecting with yourself. But there are also a lot of tools that we use, a lot of this NLP tools, if you're familiar with that. And so you can work on different things. You can work on limiting beliefs. You can work on fears. You can work on your vision. And I mean, the tools are basically just by asking questions, right? That's my only task, right? I'm not giving any suggestion, right? It's just the best coach is just asking question and listening.
Yeah,
That's right.
incredible.
Wow. That's amazing. Well, Ingo, you mentioned that you've really had this natural drive to achieve your goals, setting those goals since a young age. So even before this journey that you've entered on, traveling and now with your family, do you remember? Can you pinpoint when that started? Has that just been as a child? You set a goal and you knew, I'm going to, make the school team, or I'm going to whatever, fill in the blank of whatever a childhood goal would have been, or was it more of a younger adult that you realized the ability for you to hone in on the skill of really bringing to life whatever goal or dream you've set out for yourself?
That's a very interesting question. I need to think about it. I think I was definitely not always like that. I remember when I was a teenager, I was a very bad student, and I was not. I was. I didn't. I was a lot out and with my friends, and like making parties and doing all the stuff like smoking weed and drinking alcohol. And I think it started when I was like 18, 19, 20, when I got maybe too old for this nonsense. So, and from there I started to really start to look for always growing more, and this was also as I said, I was very bad in high school. I had very bad marks, but then then I started working. But then when I was 18, 19, I decided I want to go to university and I want to study and I want to do more than that. and I started doing a lot of sports, and yeah, I think it started then, I would say.
Yeah.
And from there, I always increased my goals, and they become always bigger.
Yeah. Is that also when you found or had the desire to compete in an Ironman competition?
Yeah, this started also like that. I mean, I started when I was like 18. I mean, I was always, I come from a like athletic family. So we went skiing when we were kids. I played football. And then between 13, 14 and 18, I didn't do sports anymore. But then I came back, I started running, and then I started cycling. And in the beginning, I started doing a lot of cycling races, also long distance cycling. And I think it was in 2007 when I said, okay, then now I'm running a lot, I'm cycling a lot. I just need to add swimming, then I can do a triathlon.
Yeah.
And then I taught myself swimming. I mean, I knew how to swim, but not really like a professional swimming. So I think it was in October 2007. I signed up for my first Ironman, which was 1 year later, and I couldn't swim. So in the winter, I had to go to the swimming pool. And I went there 3-4 times a week during the university, and I taught myself swimming. And then 1 year later, I did the first Ironman.
Wow.
But then I was also just, I mean, this is also like a nice example for like a progressing or a growing goal, right? I just wanted to finish there, and I finished, but then I wanted to become better. And at one point I said, okay, I want to go to the World Championship. And I reached this then like 10 years later in 2018, I qualified for the World Championship.
Now, do you do Ironmans anymore?
Right now, no, but I think a little bit about it because when we were traveling, I didn't have bicycles here, and so now I'm going running, and again I have a mountain bike here, but yeah, I'm pretty busy with my other stuff right now. But maybe at one day.
I was gonna say, it doesn't sound like you miss it yet.
The point is, I mean, if you think about evolving goals, the point is this was also something when I went to this World Championship then in 2018, that I think that was also like a pivoting point for me, because when you reach there and when I crossed the finish line, I mean, it was amazing, right? But a little bit after that, I also felt empty somehow because okay, I mean, what's coming next? I went to the World Championship, so I mean, there's not much more, right? I mean, I could say, okay, I can do it whatever, half an hour faster or something like that. But yeah, so I was a little bit missing the sense of setting these goals and just running from one goal to the next. And that's also was a point when I started to look for something with more meaning, because I figured out, okay, I mean, if I'm running just from one goal to the next, it's also not really fulfilling. So from there, I started also to like find more passion in the moment.
I think
I like competition sometimes. So maybe I'm not saying I will never do it again.
I can't say that would ever go away. I can't imagine that ever going away in a person. That competitive, that natural competitive nature.
Thank you for joining us today on the Reignite Resilience podcast. We hope you had some aha moments and learned a few new real-life ideas to fuel the flames of passion. Please subscribe on your favorite streaming platform, like or download your favorite episodes, and of course, share with your friends and family. We look forward to seeing you again next time on Reignite Resilience.